Andrea, hello.
Hello.
You are treasurer of the EPF. You've been treasurer since 2020, and you are handing over now the function at this conference here in Florence this year in 2024. My first question is, what motivated you to take on the post of treasurer, which many people would not see as a gratifying post, but clearly you did want to take it on. What led you to be interested to do it?
Well, in the first place, I had this smaller experience, of course, in a smaller society where I had been treasurer already. And so I had some experience on this. And the second thing is that I had the opportunity to talk once with Jorge Canestri, with whom we share some interest concerning also mathematics and some other technical aspects. And he had suggested this to me. And then Heribert called me and offered me to enter this team. And it looked very, very stimulating. Plus, I must also say that, well, my father was also a psychoanalyst, and he worked very much with international groups and societies. And so that was another reason of interest for me. And I'm very happy that I had this opportunity, which was extremely enriching for me. But we had very many different experiences during this time, but it was very rewarding. Yes.
Mm. Yeah, the experiences you mentioned, we talked with Herbert already about all the outside challenges that your executive has had to face up to, and beginning with the COVID-19 pandemic, which began just after you had taken over, basically. Yeah,
yes.
And so it must have been for you as treasurer an enormous challenge. The first thing you had to do was to cancel the conference planned for the Palm Weekend in Vienna in 2020. So what was that like? What did you... how did you manage this as treasurer?
Well, actually, although COVID had been a pandemic, a real pandemic, we didn't have anything like this for such a long time, and this time it was real. And even though it was very hard to deal with the many issues that came up, I must say that it had a strong cohesive factor on our group, and it really turned up in a way as a laboratory where we continuously had to find some solutions for something that otherwise could be catastrophic. I mean, for canceling the Vienna conference was terrible for us, because we already had all registrations, and we would have had to pay an incredible amount of money, was it not for the official declaration of pandemic that came up, that made it so that it wasn't, that in some cases it would be clear that some providers will not be able to give their services.
Mm-hmm.
And so this totally changed the scenario in this case, which was extremely relieving for us. But then we, at the same time, had been visiting one of our first activities had been a site visit in Nice in 2020, where the two executives were there because they were changing at the time, and Jorge Canesti was there as well, and we saw this beautiful place in Nice, which was called Acropolis. It would have been the Congress Center in Nice, and
That was you were planning for the
for the
2023 conference.
Yes.
Yep.
For the 2023 conference.
Yeah.
And well, actually, no, we were planning for the 2021 Congress. No, because we had to cancel the one in.
You also had to cancel the 2021 Congress.
That was canceled. We planned it for 2023, but what happened is that in May 2022, we were informed by this Congress Center in Nice that the conference could not take place there because they would demolish the premises would be demolished. And we were absolutely stunned at the time, and we were obliged to very, very quickly provide for a solution for the 2023 Congress, which eventually, as you know, took place in Cannes.
Mm-hmm.
But that was really what you would call a last-minute solution,
mm-hmm.
with all that this implies, even in terms of cost, unfortunately. This sort of experience that basically COVID made up face these different situations was somewhat common. There were several issues that came up with which we had to deal with very rapidly, and it was very different from our normal way of thinking. We were more used to have time to reflect and elaborate and find some other solutions. But it was, as I said, it was at the end it worked out very well, I feel. And then we also had in this same time the experience of facing a war, which is new for everyone. In our case, it was very much related to how we could imagine to help our colleagues in a society which was not fully formed at the time, and that that really was going through some never heard before situations. And then we decided to act immediately. Also, that was a very quick decision by helping financially the Ukrainian society. And then we started collecting donations from all the societies. There were really very, very, very many who decided to participate in this fund that we set up. And this was discussed with the IPA, and the IPA contributed generously to this as well. And then we started having seminars and talks with our colleagues, so to find also how to deal with the problem of displaced persons and how we could help them when they were abroad and so on. And well, now this is getting to the end of it. Now we're just about to close this fund very shortly, and but it has been important, and it was also very impressive to see how what sort of collaboration we could find inside our
so in a way, because you thought about the Ukraine situation while you were telling us about everything you had to do because of the COVID pandemic. So you had to cancel the 2020 conference and the 2021 conference, which you had to organize online until you were finally able to have an in-person conference again in the summer of 2022, again because of COVID restriction. Yes. But meanwhile, you had to organize online seminars. You had to organize a whole online conference. You had to find ways. You had to collaborate with a team in Berlin specialized in helping us to do all this online work, which I imagine also involved extra costs. It must, there were, yes, I guess, losses because of the canceled conferences and extra costs because of the online work that you had to set up. How did things balance out?
Well, the use of online resources became so quickly so common everywhere that what we decided to do was to set up this group of this technical, very skilled group based in Berlin.
The Digital Psychoanalytical Support Team.
Digital Psychoanalytic Support Team. They've been very good every time. And secondly, in the perspective of this, we also, as we were going through a major refurbishment of our main hall in the house, in our house in Brussels, the EPF house in Brussels, we also decided to set up a very sophisticated technical equipment there, so that we were able to have hybrid meetings if needed, or even only online if that would have been the case. We didn't know at the time, there was, and that worked out very well as well. We have some very skilled technicians that can help us in this, and it can work out very well. And also the activities, the so-called small conferences in the house also changed a bit during this time. EPCUS had one time where it was completely online, and EPCUS, as you know, has many young people participating, and many of them were, there was a questionnaire that was circulated, and many of them said that they would rather have had this kind of meeting online, like half of them. And but this is comprehensible because EPCUS was more an introductory lectures, and so on the other hand, we know that now this is a an issue that it's reducing somewhat its relevance due to the fact that the pandemics it's coming to an end. But at the same time, people got used to these.
Yeah. So meanwhile, the perhaps the disastrous situation of the pandemic did help you to prepare for the next disastrous situation, which was the attack on Ukraine, and the need to be able to work online with colleagues who could no longer travel, and to organize emergency meetings to help people to stay in dialogue in this situation. And it probably also helped you to organize the fund to support the European Psychoanalytic Society and to
Absolutely,
discuss with them about
yes,
how
and it also actually helped in having a more direct connection. I'm talking here from the financial point of view with a different society as well. And as I said, this made me feel very much what is the strength of this federation, in my view, and it was very important for me to find out how each one would more and more feel free to participate. And for us, this was very important because we have been, from a financial point of view, we have been supporting all EPF activities all the way. There is never an occasion where we simply look for a break even, so that the cost of these events is entirely coming from the outside contributions. We don't have this. We normally participate the expenses very much in all cases, and we do this for the conferences, for the annual conferences as well, so that we are a non-profit organization, but the loss that we keep, say, within our conferences, is being made so to give the possibility to more people to come. And this would have been the case because, I mean, we had some very good results starting from Madrid, and also following that, Madrid was 2019. And but then COVID made it like.
What are the finances like today? Are they safe despite all these crises?
We have a large part of our reserves which are invested in some managed funds, and so we have been very dependent from what the global world assets were in the. And so we had a substantial loss in 2022, which was
because of the financial markets, not because of the
financial markets.
The other situations you had to handle.
No, even though we were compelled to find some solution that had a cost, and so many times we had to spend more than what we would have planned otherwise. But what really EPF depends on is this market. So that 2022 was really an annus horribilis, as we say, was a very, very big loss, and that we managed to keep into a tolerable area for a while, and now it's getting better. It's still not completed, but it's getting better.
So the Treasury is recovering.
Yeah. Yes, it's recovering well, so to say,
Okay.
so that we can make reliable plans for the future, and we feel. I mean, it's a healthy federation. I mean, its finances were kept correctly, and this is what I found at least, and I tried to do my best in this as well. And so we managed to compensate for many different losses that we had in this years, but altogether it is satisfying to see how now there is a little change, so to say, because when the inflation came up again, this was another general issue. Then we realized that we could not stand anymore with our fees that were unchanged since October 2008. So we thought of a solution on this, because we knew that raising the fees could be quite intolerable for many societies, especially Eastern countries who could not face this. And so we had decided already on some other issues, but we had decided to turn our EPF bulletin, which is a real pillar of our federation, and which every year also reproposes the...
Yes, and so you've had to decide to put the bulletin online. There will no longer be a paper bulletin as of 2025, I think.
Yeah, 2025 means that the bulletin from 2024, which will be distributed in 2025, will be distributed online. To do this, we had to submit this idea to the council, and we had a vote. And actually, there was a vast majority, if not even more. It was everyone was very happy of this, actually.
As a way to save the budget, then?
Because what they learned, and this is the point, is that by making the bulletin online, we would be able to keep the fees unchanged. Because I made a little demonstration by which I could show that this process of having the bulletin online, that is not paying anymore the shipment, and also in mostly the printing on paper of this, apart from what it saved from tons of paper, and really there was like millions of sheets of paper, and besides from this, it had an incredible cost. And by what we could gain from this, from sparing this cost, was far superior to what we would receive from raising the fees.
Yes.
So it was
a necessary, but
it was a good solution, I think.
A good solution, yeah.
And also we kept a rule by which those who would, in any case, prefer to receive the bulletin in paper format, they can do this, but they have to apply with their secretary in their society, and they have to make a written request for this.
So people can still receive it if they want.
And free of charge, and still free of charge.
Well, thank you, Andrea. Congratulations on keeping the Treasury going during these difficult times. So thank you very much.
Thanks to you. Thank you.